Have you ever felt like life just isn't going your way? Like no matter what you do, things never seem to work out? Well, what if I told you there's a simple way to change all that? A way to make your dreams come true just by changing how you think. That's right, I'm talking about the law of assumption. This powerful idea can change your life faster than you ever thought possible. And the best part? It's not about doing a bunch of hard tasks or following complicated rules. It's all about changing how you see yourself and the world around you. Think about it for a moment. What if you could have anything you want just by believing it's already yours? Sounds too good to be true, right? But that's exactly what the law of assumption is all about. It's like having a magic wand that can shape your reality. And the best part? You've had this power all along. You just didn't know how to use it. Now you might be thinking, if it's so simple, why isn't everyone doing it? Well, that's because most people don't know about it. Or if they do, they don't really understand how it works. But by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to use the law of assumption to create the life you've always wanted. Here's the thing, if you don't change how you think on the inside, nothing on the outside will ever change. It's like trying to drive a car without turning on the engine. You can push all you want, but you won't get very far. But when you master the law of assumption, it's like turning the key and revving up that engine. Suddenly, good things start coming to you easily, almost like magic. But I'll be honest with you, it's not always easy. To make this work, you need to face your own doubts and fears. You need to look at the parts of yourself that you might not like very much. It's like cleaning out a messy closet. It might not be fun, but once you're done, you'll feel so much better. So you have a choice to make right now. You can keep living life the way you always have, hoping things will get better on their own. Or you can take control of your reality and start creating the life you really want. It's up to you. But let me tell you, once you start using the law of assumption, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. People will start to notice something different about you. They might even ask what your secret is. And the best part? You'll know that you're the one making it all happen. So what exactly is the law of assumption? Put simply, it's the idea that what you assume to be true becomes your reality. It's like your mind is a powerful magnet, attracting experiences that match your thoughts and beliefs. Let's break it down with a simple example. Imagine you're going to a party. If you assume it's going to be boring and that no one will talk to you, guess what? You'll probably end up standing in a corner all night, feeling lonely. But if you assume it's going to be fun and that you'll make new friends, you're more likely to chat with people and have a great time. The law of assumption works the same way in every part of your life. If you assume you're not good at math, you'll struggle with numbers. If you assume you're a natural leader, you'll find yourself taking charge more often. It's not about wishful thinking or pretending. It's about truly believing in your core that something is true. Now you might be thinking, but I can't just change what I believe. And you're right, it's not always easy. Our beliefs are like deep grooves in a record, playing the same song over and over. But here's the good news. You can change the record. You can create new grooves, new patterns of thought that serve you better. The key is to start small. You don't have to assume you'll become a millionaire overnight. Start by assuming you'll have a good day. Assume you'll find a great parking spot. Assume you'll have a nice conversation with someone. As you see these small assumptions come true, you'll start to believe in bigger things. Remember, the law of assumption isn't about ignoring reality or living in a fantasy world. It's about understanding that your thoughts and beliefs shape your experiences more than you might realize. It's about taking control of your inner world so that your outer world can change. Think of it like planting a garden. Your assumptions are the seeds. What you focus on, what you truly believe, those are the seeds you're planting in the garden of your life. And just like a real garden, it takes time and care for those seeds to grow. But if you keep nurturing them with your belief, they will bloom into beautiful flowers of reality. Now you might be wondering, if it's this powerful, why haven't I heard about it before? Well, the truth is, many successful people use this law without even realizing it. They just call it positive thinking or self-confidence. But when you understand the law of assumption, you can use it consciously and deliberately to create the life you want. It's important to understand that the law of assumption isn't about controlling other people or forcing things to happen. It's about aligning yourself with what you want. When you assume something is true, you naturally start to act in ways that make it more likely to happen. You notice opportunities you might have missed before. You feel more confident and capable. Let's say you want a promotion at work. If you assume you're not good enough or that someone else will get it, you might not even apply. You might not work as hard or show your skills. But if you assume the promotion is already yours, you'll act differently. You'll work with more confidence. You'll take on more responsibilities. You'll present yourself as someone ready for the next level. And all of these actions make it more likely that you'll actually get that promotion. The law of assumption also helps you deal with setbacks. When things don't go as planned, instead of assuming it's because you're unlucky or not good enough, you can assume it's just a temporary delay. You can assume that something even better is coming. This mindset helps you bounce back faster and keep moving towards your goals. Now you might be thinking, this sounds a lot like positive thinking. And you're right, there are similarities. But the law of assumption goes deeper. It's not just about thinking happy thoughts. It's about truly embodying the reality you want to create. It's about feeling it, living it, breathing it. Imagine you want to become a successful business owner. Positive thinking might have you say, I can do this. But the law of assumption has you living as if you're already that successful business owner. How would that person think? How would they make decisions? How would they carry themselves? By assuming you are already that person, you start to become that person. One of the most powerful aspects of the law of assumption is that it helps you overcome fear and doubt. When you assume something is already true, there's no room for what-ifs and maybes. You're not hoping or wishing anymore, you're knowing. And that knowing gives you a kind of confidence and peace that can change everything. But here's an important point. The law of assumption isn't about pretending or lying to yourself. It's about choosing to focus on the reality you want to create, even if it's not fully here yet. It's about having faith in yourself and in the power of your mind to shape your experiences. Think about it this way. Have you ever bought a new car and suddenly started seeing that same model everywhere? The cars were always there, but now you're noticing them because that's where your focus is. The law of assumption works in a similar way. When you assume something is true, you start to notice evidence that supports that assumption. You become more aware of opportunities and possibilities that align with what you want. Now, you might be wondering, can I use this for anything? And the answer is yes, but with a catch. The law of assumption works best when what you're assuming aligns with your deepest values and true desires. If you try to assume something that goes against your core beliefs or that you don't really want, it probably won't work very well. For example, if you truly value helping others, assuming you'll become rich by cheating people probably won't work out. Your subconscious mind will resist it. But assuming you'll become wealthy by creating a business that helps people, that's much more likely to succeed. It's also important to understand that the law of assumption isn't about instant gratification. Just like planting a seed doesn't make a flower appear instantly, assuming something is true doesn't always bring immediate results. It takes time for your new assumptions to take root and grow into your reality. This is where many people give up. They try assuming something for a day or two, don't see results, and decide it doesn't work. But that's like planting a seed, digging it up the next day, and saying gardening doesn't work. The law of assumption requires patience and persistence. Remember, you're not just changing your thoughts, you're changing deep-seated beliefs and patterns that might have been with you for years. It's like turning a big ship. It doesn't happen instantly, but once it starts turning, it keeps going in that new direction. So how do you actually use the law of assumption in your daily life? It starts with becoming aware of your current assumptions. What do you believe about yourself? About your abilities? About what's possible for you? Once you're aware of these assumptions, you can start to change them. Let's say you often assume that things will go wrong. You might catch yourself thinking, "This is going to be a disaster," or "I'll probably mess this up." When you notice these thoughts, pause. Take a deep breath. Then consciously choose a new assumption. "This is going to work out great," or "I've got this." At first, it might feel fake or forced. That's okay. Remember, you're creating new grooves, new patterns of thought. It takes time and practice, but the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. And as you start to see small positive changes in your life, it becomes easier to make bigger assumptions. Another powerful way to use the law of assumption is through visualization. Spend some time each day imagining yourself living the life you want. See it in vivid detail. Feel the emotions you'd feel if it were already true. This isn't just daydreaming. It's programming your subconscious mind to align with that reality. It's also important to pay attention to your words. The language you use reinforces your assumptions. Instead of saying, "I hope this works out," say, "This is working out perfectly." Instead of "I'll try," say, "I will." These small changes in language can have a big impact on your assumptions and therefore your reality. Now, you might be thinking, "But what if I assume something and it doesn't happen?" This is where many people get stuck. They assume something once, don't see immediate results, and give up. But here's the thing. The law of assumption isn't about controlling every detail of your life. It's about aligning yourself with the reality you want to create. If something doesn't work out exactly as you assumed, don't take it as a failure. Instead, assume that it's working out in an even better way than you imagined. Assume that the universe has something even greater in store for you. This flexibility keeps you open to opportunities you might not have considered. Remember, the law of assumption isn't about forcing reality to bend to your will. It's about aligning yourself with the flow of life in a way that brings you more of what you want. It's about trusting that when you assume the best, life has a way of meeting you halfway. One of the most powerful aspects of the law of assumption is how it changes your energy and vibration. When you truly believe something good is going to happen, you carry yourself differently, you smile more, you're more open and confident. And people respond to that energy. They're more likely to want to help you, to work with you, to be around you. Think about someone you know who always seems to have good luck. Chances are, they're not actually luckier than anyone else. They've just mastered the art of positive assumption. They expect good things to happen, so they notice more opportunities. They're more likely to take risks that pay off. And when things don't go as planned, they assume it's just a temporary setback, not a permanent failure. Now you might be wondering, but what about negative things? Can assuming bad things make them happen too? And the answer is yes, it can. That's why it's so important to be aware of your assumptions and choose them consciously. If you catch yourself assuming the worst, pause and choose a different assumption. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It means approaching challenges with the assumption that you can handle them, that solutions exist, and that things will work out in the end. It's about maintaining a positive, empowered mindset even when facing difficulties. One of the most beautiful things about the law of assumption is that it puts you in the driver's seat of your life. You're no longer a victim of circumstances. You're the creator of your reality. This shift in perspective alone can be life-changing. When you start living by the law of assumption, you'll notice that your whole outlook on life changes. Things that used to stress you out don't bother you as much anymore. You start to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You become more resilient, more creative, more open to new experiences. And here's something really amazing. As you change, the people around you might start to change too. Your new energy and outlook can be contagious. You might inspire others to start assuming better things for themselves. You become a beacon of positivity and possibility in your community. But remember, the law of assumption isn't about becoming a different person. It's about becoming more fully yourself. It's about assuming that you are already the amazing, capable, lovable person you've always been deep down. It's about letting that true self shine through. As you practice the law of assumption, you'll start to notice little coincidences happening more often. You might think of someone and then bump into them later that day. You might need something and suddenly find it on sale. These synchronicities are signs that you're aligning with the flow of life in a powerful way. Now you might be wondering, is there a downside to using the law of assumption? And the truth is, like any powerful tool, it needs to be used responsibly. It's important not to use it to avoid dealing with real problems or to ignore important issues in your life. The law of assumption works best when it's combined with practical action and a willingness to grow and change. It's also important to remember that the law of assumption isn't about controlling other people. You can't assume someone will fall in love with you or give you a job if they don't want to. What you can do is assume that the right person or opportunity will come into your life at the right time. This keeps you open and positive without trying to force specific outcomes. As you start to practice the law of assumption, be patient with yourself. It's like learning any new skill. You might not get it perfect right away, and that's okay. The important thing is to keep practicing, keep assuming the best, and keep moving forward with faith and optimism. Remember, every great achievement in history started with someone assuming it was possible. The Wright brothers assumed humans could fly. Martin Luther King Jr. assumed racial equality was achievable. Steve Jobs assumed computers could be personal and user-friendly. Your assumptions have the power to change not just your life, but the world around you. So, are you ready to unlock your reality? Are you ready to master the law of assumption and create the life you've always dreamed of? It all starts with a simple choice. A choice to assume the best, to believe in yourself, and to trust in the power of your mind to shape your reality. In the next part of this video, we're going to dive deeper into how you can start using the law of assumption in your daily life. We'll explore practical techniques, common pitfalls to avoid, and how to overcome the inevitable doubts and challenges that come up along the way. Remember, you have the power to shape your reality. Your assumptions create your world. So why not assume the best? Why not assume that you're capable, loved, and destined for greatness? Why not assume that your dreams are not only possible, but inevitable? The choice is yours. And with the law of assumption, you have the power to make that choice count. So let's keep going and explore how you can start using this incredible law to transform your life, starting right now. Now that we understand what the law of assumption is and how it works, let's dive into the first key to making it work for you. Believing in yourself. This might sound simple, but it's often the hardest part for many people. We're so used to doubting ourselves, to thinking we're not good enough or that we don't deserve good things. But here's the truth. You are worthy, you are capable, and you deserve all the good things life has to offer. Believing in yourself isn't about being arrogant or thinking you're better than everyone else. It's about recognizing your own worth and potential. It's about trusting that you have what it takes to create the life you want. When you truly believe in yourself, it shows in everything you do. You stand taller, speak more confidently, and take on challenges with a positive attitude. So how do you start believing in yourself more? It starts with paying attention to your inner voice. We all have that little voice in our head that comments on everything we do. For many of us, that voice can be pretty harsh. It tells us we're not good enough, that we'll fail, that we don't deserve success. The first step to believing in yourself is to challenge that voice. When you catch yourself thinking something negative about yourself, stop and ask, is this really true? Where's the evidence? Often, you'll find that these negative thoughts are just old habits, not facts. Once you recognize this, you can start to replace those negative thoughts with more positive, supportive ones. Another powerful way to build self-belief is to celebrate your successes, no matter how small. Did you get out of bed on time this morning? Celebrate that. Did you finish a task at work? Give yourself a pat on the back. By acknowledging your achievements, you're training your mind to focus on what you can do rather than what you can't. It's also important to surround yourself with positive influences. The people we spend time with have a big impact on how we see ourselves. Try to spend more time with people who believe in you and support your dreams. And if you can't find those people in your immediate circle, look for them in books, podcasts, or online communities. Remember, believing in yourself is a skill. Like any skill, it takes practice. You might not feel 100% confident all the time, and that's okay. The goal is to gradually increase your self-belief over time. Every time you choose to believe in yourself, even when it's hard, you're strengthening that muscle. One powerful technique for building self-belief is to create a list of your past successes and achievements. Include everything, no matter how small it might seem. Maybe you learned to ride a bike, or you helped a friend through a tough time, or you cooked a great meal. Write it all down. This list serves as concrete evidence of your capabilities and can be a powerful boost when you're feeling doubtful. Another important aspect of believing in yourself is learning to accept compliments. Many of us have a habit of brushing off praise or downplaying our achievements, but when you do this, you're reinforcing the belief that you're not worthy of recognition. Instead, try simply saying thank you when someone compliments you. Let their words sink in and reinforce your self-belief. Remember, believing in yourself doesn't mean you'll never have doubts or fears. It means that even when those doubts and fears come up, you choose to move forward anyway. You trust that you have what it takes to handle whatever comes your way. As you start to believe in yourself more, you'll notice that using the law of assumption becomes easier. When you truly believe you're capable and worthy, it's much easier to assume good things for yourself. Your assumptions become more natural and authentic, and that makes them more powerful. Now that we've talked about believing in yourself, let's move on to the second key of mastering the law of assumption: acting as if. This is where you start to bring your assumptions into the real world. It's not enough to just think about what you want or to believe it's possible. You need to start living as if it's already true. Think about it this way. If you already had everything you wanted, how would you act? How would you carry yourself? What decisions would you make? Acting as if means embodying that version of yourself right now, not waiting until everything is perfect. For example, let's say you want to be a successful business owner. How would a successful business owner dress? How would they manage their time? What kind of people would they surround themselves with? Start doing those things now. Don't wait until your business is successful to act like a successful business owner. Act like one now and watch how it changes things. Now, this doesn't mean pretending or being fake. It's about aligning your actions with your assumptions and beliefs. If you assume you're a confident person, act confidently. If you assume you're someone who takes care of their health, make healthy choices. Your actions reinforce your assumptions, and your assumptions guide your actions. It's a powerful cycle. One of the most effective ways to act as if is through your body language. Our bodies and minds are closely connected. When you stand tall, smile more, and move with confidence, you actually start to feel more confident. And when you feel more confident, it's easier to assume positive things for yourself. Another important aspect of acting as if is making decisions based on where you want to be, not where you are now. Ask yourself, what would the successful version of me do in this situation? Then do that. This might feel uncomfortable at first, like you're playing a role, but over time, it becomes more natural. You're not pretending to be someone else, you're growing into the best version of yourself. It's important to remember that acting as if isn't about faking it until you make it. It's about aligning your actions with your assumptions and beliefs. It's about creating congruence between your inner world and your outer world. When your thoughts, feelings, and actions are all in alignment, that's when the law of assumption becomes truly powerful. One common misconception about acting as if is that it means spending money you don't have or taking unreasonable risks. That's not what this is about. Acting as if is about adopting the mindset and habits of the person you want to become, not about pretending you're already there in every way. For instance, if you want to be wealthy, acting as if doesn't mean going into debt to buy expensive things. It might mean starting to educate yourself about investing, or being more mindful about your spending habits, or looking for opportunities to increase your income. It's about adopting the mindset and behaviors of a wealthy person, not just the outward appearance. As you start acting as if, you might feel resistance from others. People who are used to seeing you one way might be confused or even threatened by your new behavior. This is normal. Remember, you're not changing to please others. You're aligning your actions with your assumptions to create the life you want. One powerful way to reinforce your act as if mindset is through visualization. Spend some time each day visualizing yourself living the life you want. See yourself acting with confidence, making wise decisions, enjoying success. The more vividly you can imagine these scenarios, the easier it becomes to act them out in real life. Remember, acting as if is a practice. You might not get it perfect every time, and that's okay. The important thing is to keep aligning your actions with your assumptions as much as possible. Over time, you'll find that it becomes more and more natural. Now we come to the third key in mastering the law of assumption: letting go of doubt. This might be the toughest part for many people, but it's absolutely crucial. Doubt is like a weed that can choke out even the strongest assumptions if you let it. Think about it. You can believe in yourself and act as if all day long. But if deep down you're still doubting whether it will work, you're sending mixed signals to the universe. It's like trying to drive with one foot on the gas and one on the brake. You might move forward, but it'll be a bumpy, inefficient ride. So how do you let go of doubt? The first step is to recognize that doubt is just a thought, not a fact. Just because you think something might not work out doesn't mean that's true. Our minds are great at coming up with worst-case scenarios, but that doesn't mean those scenarios are likely to happen. One powerful technique for dealing with doubt is to question it. When a doubtful thought comes up, ask yourself, is this really true? Do I know for certain that this bad thing will happen? Most of the time, the answer is no. You don't know for sure. And if you don't know for sure, why not assume the best instead of the worst? Another important aspect of letting go of doubt is to focus on the present moment. Doubt often comes from worrying about the future or dwelling on past failures. But the only moment you have any control over is right now. So instead of worrying about what might happen, focus on what you can do right now to move towards your goals. It's also helpful to remember that doubt is often a sign that you're stepping out of your comfort zone, and that's a good thing. Growth and change always involves some level of discomfort. So when you feel doubt creeping in, you can choose to see it as a sign that you're making progress, not as a warning to stop. One effective way to combat doubt is to keep an evidence journal. Every day, write down at least one thing that happened that supports your assumptions. Maybe you had a great conversation with someone, or you completed a task you thought was difficult, or you noticed an opportunity you might have missed before. By focusing on the evidence that supports your assumptions, you make it harder for doubt to take hold. Remember, letting go of doubt doesn't mean you'll never have doubts again. It means you choose not to let those doubts control your actions or beliefs. It's about acknowledging the doubt, then gently setting it aside and refocusing on your assumptions. It's also important to be patient with yourself as you work on letting go of doubt. If you've spent years doubting yourself, it's not going to change overnight. But with consistent practice, you can weaken the hold that doubt has over you and strengthen your ability to maintain positive assumptions. One powerful technique for dealing with persistent doubts is to write them down, then write down a counter-argument for each one. For example, if you have the doubt, "I'm not smart enough to succeed," you might counter it with, "I've overcome challenges before, and I can learn what I need to know." By challenging your doubts on paper, you take away some of their power. It's also helpful to surround yourself with positive influences. The people we spend time with, the books we read, the shows we watch, all of these can either feed our doubts or help us overcome them. Choose to expose yourself to messages and people that support your positive assumptions. Remember, the goal isn't to never have doubts. That's not realistic. The goal is to not let those doubts stop you from assuming the best and taking action towards your goals. Every time you choose your assumptions over your doubts, you're strengthening your ability to use the law of assumption effectively. As you practice letting go of doubt, you might find that it becomes easier to maintain your positive assumptions even in challenging situations. You develop a kind of inner strength and resilience that allows you to stay focused on what you want rather than what you fear. One final thought on doubt. Sometimes what we think is doubt is actually fear of success. We might be afraid of what will happen if we actually get what we want, or we might not feel worthy of success. If you find this happening, remind yourself that you deserve good things. You deserve to succeed. And as you succeed, you'll be better able to help others and make a positive impact on the world. 24-hour challenge. Now that we've covered the 3 key principles of mastering the law of assumption, it's time to put it all into practice. I'm going to give you a 24-hour challenge that will help you experience the power of this law firsthand. This challenge is designed to be simple yet effective, allowing you to see real results in just one day. First, choose one area of your life where you want to see a positive change. It could be your relationships, your work, your health, or anything else that matters to you. Pick something that feels achievable in a day, but also something that would make a noticeable difference in your life. Next, create a clear, positive assumption about this area. For example, if you chose relationships, your assumption might be, people enjoy talking to me and find me interesting. If you chose work, it might be, I'm capable and efficient in my job. Make sure your assumption is stated in the present tense, as if it's already true. Now, for the next 24 hours, you're going to live as if this assumption is absolutely true. Believe it with every fiber of your being. Act as if it's an undeniable fact. Whenever you notice doubt creeping in, gently remind yourself of your assumption and choose to believe it instead. Throughout the day, look for evidence that supports your assumption. Even small things count. If you assumed people enjoy talking to you and someone smiles at you in the grocery store, count that as evidence. If you assumed you're efficient at work and you complete a task quickly, that's evidence too. Keep a small notebook or use your phone to jot down every piece of evidence you notice. This will help you stay focused and alert throughout the day. It will also give you a record to look back on at the end of the challenge. As you go through your day, pay attention to how this assumption affects your behavior. Do you carry yourself differently? Do you make different choices? Notice how assuming the best can change your actions in subtle but powerful ways. At the end of the 24 hours, take some time to reflect on your experience. Look over the evidence you collected. How did it feel to live with this positive assumption? Did you notice any changes in your day compared to normal? Remember, the goal of this challenge isn't to completely transform your life in a day. It's to give you a taste of what's possible when you apply the law of assumption consistently. Even small shifts can lead to big changes over time. Don't be discouraged if you found it difficult to maintain your assumption for the full 24 hours. This is a skill that takes practice. The important thing is that you tried and that you learned something from the experience. If you found this challenge helpful, consider extending it. Try living with your positive assumption for a week or even a month. Or choose a new assumption each day and see how it affects different areas of your life. The 24-hour challenge is a powerful way to kickstart your practice of the law of assumption. It gives you a concentrated dose of positivity and helps you see firsthand how your assumptions can shape your reality. By the end of this challenge, you'll have a better understanding of how the law of assumption works in your daily life. Remember, the key to success with this challenge is to fully commit. For these 24 hours, really throw yourself into believing and acting as if your assumption is true. Don't worry about whether it's working or not. Just focus on maintaining that positive assumption and see what unfolds. As you go through this challenge, you might be surprised at how many opportunities you notice that you might have missed before. When we assume positive things, we become more attuned to the good things around us. It's like tuning a radio to pick up a specific station. Suddenly, you can hear it clearly. Don't be surprised if you feel a bit uncomfortable at times during this challenge. Changing our assumptions often means stepping out of our comfort zones. Embrace that discomfort as a sign of growth and keep moving forward. By the end of this 24-hour challenge, you'll have a tangible experience of how the law of assumption can work in your life. You'll see firsthand how changing your assumptions can change your actions, your perceptions, and even the way others respond to you. This experience can be the foundation for bigger, longer-lasting changes in your life. We've covered a lot of ground in this exploration of the law of assumption. We've learned about the power of our assumptions to shape our reality, the importance of believing in ourselves, the impact of acting as if our desires are already true, and the necessity of letting go of doubt. We've even put it all into practice with our 24-hour challenge. But remember, mastering the law of assumption isn't about achieving perfection overnight. It's about making a consistent effort to align your thoughts, beliefs, and actions with the reality you want to create. It's about choosing again and again to assume the best for yourself and your life. As you continue to practice the law of assumption, you'll likely find that it becomes easier and more natural over time. You'll start to notice more evidence supporting your positive assumptions, and you'll find it easier to let go of doubts and negative beliefs. But even as you see positive changes in your life, it's important to stay grounded. The law of assumption isn't about ignoring reality or avoiding responsibility. It's about approaching life with a positive, empowered mindset that allows you to make the most of every situation and opportunity. Remember, you have the power to shape your reality through your assumptions. Every day, you have countless opportunities to choose positive, empowering assumptions over negative, limiting ones. And each time you make that choice, you're taking a step towards creating the life you truly want. So I encourage you to keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, keep acting as if your dreams are already coming true, keep letting go of doubt and embracing possibility. And above all, keep assuming the best for yourself and your life. You have within you the power to create an extraordinary life. The law of assumption is a tool to help you unlock that power. Use it wisely, use it consistently, and watch as your life transforms in amazing ways. Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery. Remember, your assumptions create your reality, so choose them wisely and create a reality you love. Here's to your success, your happiness, and your incredible future. You've got this.